Hello and welcome to stage 2 of the 2013 edition of Le Tour de Lengkawi, a relatively short 117.8 kilometers ride from Serdang to Kuala Kangsar. It's Theo Bos from the Blanco team who carries the leader's jersey into stage 2, having continued his great start to the season with a comfortable sprint win on stage 1. Andrea Guardini of the Astana team, the king of the sprints in Le Tour de Lengkawi over the past couple of years, will be eager to redress the balance in what is theoretically another good opportunity for the gallopers in this stage. Of course, Guardini was only third on the first stage, edged out by Coquard of Europcar, indicating the strength and depth of the European Sprint Challenge in this, the 16th edition of Asia's best-loved stage race. Well, the speed merchants will have to negotiate a very tough Category 2 King of the Mountains ascent just before the halfway point if they're to get in contention at the end. And the stage also includes 3 intermediate sprints along the way, 1 before the hill and 2 after it to liven up the action. And as the field rolls out, it's not long before the attack starts. The usual flurry of attacks punctuated the early action, with riders desperate to get in the early move of the day. And the KSPO team from South Korea were particularly active in the early action. After 5 kilometers, a 5-rider group representing 5 different teams finally established itself, including local sensation Anouar Manan of the impressive new Synergy Baku cycling project. He was in there. Also in there were Shahrul Mat Amin of Terengganu cycling team, Chun Wat Go of OCBC Singapore, Yong So Jun of KSPO, and Fuyu Li of the Hengshan cycling team. And those 5 were allowed to go clear. With 5 kilometers completed up front in the peloton, the Blanco team play a watching brief. The first sprint of the day came after just 10.6 kilometers, where Manan took the points comfortably, showing the jersey of the new Azerbaijan-based squad run by Dave McCann and Jeremy Hunt to good effect. Look at that crash there on the left at the mountains points. And that's and there's the Category 2 King of the Mountains points confirmed, with so getting the top points and benefiting from that crash. Luckily, no harm done, as Manan was delayed slightly and Amin had a soft landing. While the breakaway were pushing hard on the descent, but with the summit coming 60 kilometers from the finish, they really were going to have their work cut out, heading to the second sprint of the day. And once again, it was Manan who asserted his authority, hoovering up more valuable sprint classification points at Lengong, with just over 70 kilometers in their legs. Manan's very much a local hero in Malaysia, being the only home rider ever to win a stage of the Tour de Lengkawi back in 2010. And taking the sprints jersey along the way on that occasion as well. And there's confirmation of these second sprints. Manan takes the points, and after finishing 7th on the opening day, the rider from the new Azerbaijan team was certainly hungry for sprint points, while potentially also putting himself in contention for the white jersey of Best Asian Rider. And back in the peloton, Bos in the yellow jersey and his faithful lead-out man Graham Brown, himself a star sprinter in this race over the years, playing a watching brief and on his shoulder. Third sprint of the second sprint of the day confirmed, with Aman and the top 3 in the sprints competition, while Manan has handy advantage there ahead of Theo Bos. Bos's points coming, of course, at the end of the first stage of the day. There's Europcar on the front as the breakaway group is mopped up, finally reeled in after a fine effort in this intense heat. And the Europcar team, of course, very keen to try and deliver their sprinter Brian Coquard to the line in the best possible situation. Perig Kwemanur of the Europcar team there on the front briefly, with Nakajima also assisting. He's been up front for much of the first stage as well. And now the Blanco team mass towards the front. They have Theo Boss to get into contention. Can he make it 2 wins in a row? Wonderful start to the season for him, of course. Took a victory in the Volta Algarve last week. And clearly the Blanco team very aggressive in their efforts to try and get a top sponsor for next season. It's a difficult time for that team, but they've come into this season with good form. And Theo Boss there, not too far from the front, and certainly being delivered nicely towards the line by his team. Europcar also keen to get into contention, and can Guardini's Astana team also get him to the line in the best possible situation? Into the final kilometre, and the Orica Green Age team have the immense power of Luke Durbridge, wearing the Australian national champions jersey, bringing Idis Kropis to the line in the best possible condition. Blanco look around to see what the situation is, and Boss looks like he might be a little bit boxed in there, but Graham Brown has found a path through with 300 metres to go. He steps off and gives it to Theo Boss. It's going to be a long one for Theo Boss. Can he manage to hold off? It's a long sprint, long run to the line. Guardini coming for Astana on the right-hand side. And Boss is just about going to hang on there from Guardini by the narrowest of margins. Great effort from Theo Boss, because it looked as if Graham Brown had dropped him off a little bit earlier that he might have liked. And certainly that was a tough one for Theo Boss. So close.
It's really nice to win in the yellow, and I thought when I saw the stage, the profile, I thought it can be also difficult with a small, pretty big climb in the middle and a short stage. So I expected there would be attacks, and so the plan was just to go in the front and make a good pace uphill. And if there are attacks, just continue and try to catch them in the last 60k. But luckily, there was no big race on the hill, so which was good for the sprinters. And then the final went okay. We know we have 2 or 3 riders sacrificed for closing the gap to the breakaway. And then in the final was a bit more difficult than yesterday. And Brownie did really well. He went on the right time to the front, 500 to go. And then I make a mistake to go too early. I thought it was only 200 meters or something. And then I begin my sprint. I look up, I saw the sign of 300. So then I thought, okay, this is going to be hard.
Certainly was hard. There's the confirmation of the King of the Mountains competition, with So taking the top points there, and he'll pull on the red jersey of King of the Mountains leader with that. The Asian rider overall is headed by Mayan Wang, 3-second advantage over Manan at this point, so also very much in contention. But it's Theo Boss who retains the yellow jersey and steps onto the top step of the podium for the 2nd day in a row. Boss collects the trophies. That's 3 wins already this season for the former track sprint superstar.